and my son gave me his Christmas list, I was like, yeah, man, he ain't real. I'm sorry. This it's a ridiculous list. What is wrong with you? We can go halvesies. My second kid came out with the worst list. This was his list. He's like, look, Dad, I need a smartphone, some Air Jordans, and an iPad. I'm like, whoa. Santa don't do iPads. Santa does Legos and action figures. To which he responded, well, I feel like I had a pretty good year, so I'm gonna keep it on my list. And then we just uncomfortably stared at each other. And finally I was like, well, I'm Santa Claus. I didn't want to tell you. I was hoping that your friends would tell you, and then I would avoid it. But you have backed me into a financial corner with your $3,000 Christmas list. Now redo your list and keep it under $150.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all.
Good morning. It's 7:07 at WRJN 1400 AM, 99.9 and 98.1 FM. And it's good to be back. I'm Don Rosen. Becoming mostly sunny with 136 today. A beautiful day right now, cloudy and 25 degrees. Dick Graceffa, good old friend, is here. And he's joining us. He's with DG Sports, involved very heavily in high school sports. And Dick Graceffa, thanks for joining us here at WRJN. I do appreciate it.
Oh, it's good to talk to you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. And it's good for you to be back again. You've been doing high school sports now for, you told me, 20 years. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yes, it has. Actually, a former John Weiser, I'm going to mention him. He was my mentor. We started back in 04 together, and you probably don't recall that you and I spent the Saturday all day covering two high school sectional final games together, and that really kicked off my broadcasting career.
That wasn't the one I covered a game up in Baraboo once, and we brought our van up there, the WRJN van with all our equipment in there, and I didn't want to leave it somewhere because I had a lot of equipment, and so I pulled it literally onto the field, right by the bleachers. And somebody came by and said, you can't park here. I said, oh, we have to. We're doing I made this whole big thing up, and we stood and we did the Baraboo game live on the air with the equipment we had, which was great. And I kept the van in sight. I wasn't going to leave that laying somewhere in a parking lot. There's so much thousands of dollars in equipment inside of it. And so anyway, we parked it right there by the field, and we had a great time. I've done some other outside the box broadcasts over the years. One quick one before I forget. We were broadcasting from Case High School, and we needed, it's called a Marty system. It's an antenna system. It's a little complicated to explain, but the van had to be in line with the radio station, so I parked it on the south end of the field, way past the goalpost, and I was hungry, so I ordered the pizza because I was going to be there for a couple of hours. And the pizza guy said, where are you? I said, well, actually in the woods outside.
Yeah.
And I said, come here. I will see you. I'll go on the street and wave you down. And he pulled into the woods area. I gave him a super tip, and he dropped off a pizza while the game was going on because I had to sit there with it. But yeah, you've been doing it for 20 years, and you mainly cover our area. You don't really go outside the southeastern Wisconsin area, do you?
No, I have the 10 schools, Racine County, so it's 10 schools for basketball because the Prairie School doesn't have football, and the 9 schools for football. So, however, now DG Sports, once all of our teams are limited, we have had a few incidents where other teams, schools have contacted me and asked if I would carry their game because they don't have a local radio affiliate that covers their game. So the DG Sports name is out there, and people can take advantage of it at any time.
And you've done sports for Civic Media, high school sports in the past, high school football. Let me ask you about the football season because it's over now. Who was the best team in our division here in Racine, in the Racine area, or I should say, Racine County?
Well, the best team would have been Racine St. Catherine's because they won the Metro Classic Conference championship. They shared it actually with two other schools, but then they were eliminated in level 2 of the playoffs. But they were the only team of the 9 to win a conference title.
And the champion in Division 1 this year in football was who?
Marquette. Milwaukee Marquette, again, defeated my local team, Franklin, in the state finals at Camp Randall.
Now, Wisconsin's got a very good high school setup from the WIAA. They do a great job in fostering and making sure these games are organized and they have certain divisions. And I used to deal with them all the time with broadcasts. Sometimes I had a fight with them. Sometimes everything went well with them. And it was so easy to get these high school games on the air, and we did it every weekend. Now, basketball's underway now. A lot nicer because you're not outside in the elements. You're in the confines of a gymnasium. So who's doing well this season so far? 4 games in, you told me. So 4 games in, who's doing well?
Well, 4 games in, the best team would probably be the Park Panthers. We just covered them the other night against up here at Franklin, and they were down by 15 in the second half and came back scratch and clawed, and they ended up winning the game by 2 points and to remain undefeated in conference, 2-0 overall, 4-1 overall, 2-0 in conference. So right now, the Park Panthers are setting off and doing pretty well. And then the team in the county would be the Burlington Demons. That's the other team that's very strong. So they're 2 of my teams that are not surprising me. I expected them to be, pretty good, and so far they're showing that.
Now, you have to you can memorize all the team players, but every year, this is the problem with high school sports and college sports too. The names change because the seniors graduate and they move on, and so you've got to learn a whole new team every year.
Absolutely, people don't realize how much work goes into prepping for one game. I mean, you want to get the pronunciations right. The rosters can change from week to week. Oh, this kid decided to quit, or we've added this sophomore, we put him up on varsity. So, we can't, once we get the roster, we can't expect that to remain constant. It could change.
So the basketball season goes till when now? They take a break around Christmas time, but when do they kick in again, and how long does it go till? It
goes till the second week of March if you get to the state title, you get up to the state tournament games at the Kohl Center. So roughly, what I tell people is it's always over by St. Patrick's Day. It ends that weekend, usually is when it ends.
Let's back to football for a moment here, and I asked you off the air. Now, I pass a lot. I pass the Racine Lutheran High School, and they just had a giant gymnasium built on this past year, which ate up a lot of their football field. They have one goalpost where they can practice, but where do they play their games now?
They play their games at both Horlick and Pritchard Park, because again, Pritchard Park built a football field with an artificial surface 2 years ago. This was the second year we played there. So they now have 2 football sites available for the private schools to play at, Lutheran and St. Catherine's. The 3 district schools all have what they call their home field. Horlick's home field is Horlick Athletic Field. They're very excited. I don't know if you've been past there. They will have artificial surface next season in August. Amos Field. And Park's home field is Pritchard Park.
Wait a second, historic Horlick Field will be artificial?
historic Corlick Field is artificial.
Oh, it is
already.
artificial. Okay. Yeah,
And this field will have the artificial surface
Gotcha.
come next football season.
Gotcha. Okay, so what are we looking for? Now, you only do basketball and football, right? You don't do any of the other sports, right?
Actually, we have dabbled a little bit into baseball now, too, but those are the three sports.
Now, people don't realize, although school starts at the end of August, beginning of September, depending on the school, high school football, they start preparing like at the beginning of August, maybe late July. They have to attend the practices because they got to be ready. I mean, that's something.
Right.
They actually start when everybody else is enjoying their summer vacation. The football players in high school are actually working on a football field in that heat, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, actually, football season for high school starts. They draw equipment the first Monday of August, and then they start practicing. And the third Friday, it's been constant now. It's the third Friday of August is when the season kicks off. So here in Racine, our district schools, they will have 1/3 of their football season completed by the time school starts after Labor Day. They've already played 3 games.
Well, they get to get them in. Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah.
So, and you've dabbled in baseball. Why not continue with baseball? Just too many games?
No, actually, you're gonna get a kick out of this. The reason we have not done a lot of
But let me guess. Let me guess. You got hit by a baseball.
No, I wish that's what I was telling you.
Okay.
You don't have press boxes.
Oh yeah, you got to sit there right on the field.
Yep, they don't have accommodations for us to do baseball games. So there's been a few places that have said, "Yeah, come on, you can do the baseball game," and they have press boxes. So again, that's probably the biggest reason, that we have not done more baseball. But we have tried it. We know we can do it. So we'll see how this season goes if we do a little more baseball.
Hold on a second. Dick Graceffa is here from DG Sports. We're talking high school sports. We're in the middle of the beginning of the basketball season. Keep it right here. More coming up. Becoming mostly sunny with a high near 36 today. A clear night tonight and a sunny day tomorrow with a high near 35. Right now, cloudy and 25 degrees. I'm Don Rosen at Hometown Radio Refreshed. Civic Media's WRJN. Don't move.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where those treetops listen.
The Drifters with White Christmas got famous from the movie Home Alone. Remember that?
To hear
It was played in the movie. All of a sudden, everybody discovered the song that had been out for like 30 years before. It's funny what a movie can do to a song. I'm Don Rosen. Thanks for joining us here at 720 at WRJN. Dick Graceffa from DG Sports is with us. He covers high school sports. How did you start DG Sports, by the way?
Well, how it happened, Don, was when the old ownership of WRJN decided that they were going to discontinue sports. We were off for that basketball season, and then somebody told me, well, you should contact WGTD in Kenosha Technical. That school had a radio program, and they were looking to branch out. They had heard that we were not doing sports in Racine, so we contacted them, and we actually partnered with them, hooked up with them, and did it through WGTD for 2 years. But the problem there was we got bumped a lot of times when we wanted to do games. They would say, okay, we can do the game, but it's going to be recorded. And the majority of the games were never put on live. So we looked into exploring it was a stream broadcast down there also. We looked into could we get a stream service to do our games, and that's how we came upon Mixlr doing our games, and it's been a wonderful experience ever since we went with Mixlr. It's always live. The games are archived 10 minutes after we go off the air, and the feedback from people is it's a crystal clear broadcast anywhere, and that's the good thing about streaming. You can go anywhere in the United States, and you can hear us.
You can go anywhere.
Tune us up.
Back up. You can go anywhere in the world.
Actually, you are correct, because
it doesn't matter.
We had a parent that was in Japan for some business, and he wanted to listen to his son's game at Horlick, and he did let us know after the game that he listened to it, and it was crystal clear. So I always share that story with people.
Well, this broadcast here every day, we podcast the program, and this will be podcast probably about 10 or 11 o'clock this morning. And people do the same thing. They're out of the area. I have a good friend who's stationed in the military, in the Air Force, in Italy. He listens to every podcast because it reminds him of home. And he's from Racine area. And he listens to the podcast in Italy every morning. So it's broadcast live to the folks here in Racine. It's also, you can actually listen live like you can. It streams, but then you can listen to the podcast later on. Hey, Dick, talk about the best games you've ever called before.
Well, the best games I've ever called before would be starting with, I can't forget him. I call him the legend, Coach Bob Lech. The mid-2000 winning 4 state championships in 5 years, where I was part of those broadcasts at the Kohl Center. I mean, that will always stick in my mind. And in 2018, when St. Catherine's advanced to Camp Randall and won a state title, that was another good game. So I've had, I could go on and on. There's a lot of good games that I've called. I've been fortunate to call a lot of state games. Haven't always been state champions, but they've gotten to the state championship game. So it's been an exciting 20 years doing this.
Talk about DG Sports Player of the Game Awards.
Well, we started that 3 years ago, and I got to tell you, it's just exploded when we give the award, or sometimes I give 2 a game, and it's not always 2. For example, in football, the one that scores the most touchdowns, or in basketball, the one that scores the most points. I look at the entire body of the work for the game to award, the DG Sports Player of the Game. And the kids, they take this because most kids, as you know, Don, all have Facebook now. And the minute you give that award out, because I interview the players after the game, and parents and friends, they're out there taking pictures. And within 10 minutes, 20 minutes, after they leave the gymnasium or the football field, it's all over Facebook, and they typically show their certificates that they get. So that's a nice promotion for DG Sports.
When I went to high school, we had Berner High School, and then we had Massapequa High School, the older high school that was there since the beginning of the town. And every year the big game was Berner versus Massapequa in football, and every year, all the games that Berner won. And in our yearbook, they posted the history of it, and it was we won every year against Massapequa High School. They stopped winning. You know how why? Because they shut down the high school. My high school went out of business. And so there was no more. That's the best way to do it. If you can't beat the competition, put them out of business. So
there you go.
It became a middle school, and now it's just an empty building where I went to high school. But that was the best way to do it. I'm trying to think of, there was something else I was going to tell you about high school sports a second ago. Oh, I was once setting up the high school game. We were testing out the equipment. I think it was at Case High School. Or Park High School. I think it was Case. And I have a big fear of heights. don't do well at heights. So I set up the equipment, and it was during the daytime. There was nobody else there, and I couldn't get down from the top of the bleachers.
Oh.
And I was stuck there waiting for someone to come in to help me down. I sat there. I was able to go down one step at a time by sitting, but you know how big the bleachers are. And I was panicking up there, and finally somebody came in and said, come on, you can make it. No, I can't. If I can make it, I would have walked down the steps. I can't make it. And so he kind of guided me down one step at a time as I went down. When I was a little kid, 6 years old, we were in Washington, D.C., and my father, we took the elevator to the top of the Washington Monument, and he said, we're going to walk down. I said, I can't, Dad. I can't get past the first step. If I do, I'll roll down the steps. He said, you're not going to roll down. He had to carry me on his back down the entire Washington Monument. And I'm just, that's even talking the steps on my porch. I looked down and I said, whoa, this is pretty tall. And I've got to take it one step at a time. But yeah, I was stuck up at I think it was Case High School. And I just had to wait for someone to come in and guide me down. Dick Graceffa, DG Sports. Dick, we're going to have you back from time to time talking about how the high school basketball season is coming and when we get ready for football. Thank you very much, my friend. It's good to talk to you again. We've been together for a lot of years here at WRJN, and it's always good to talk to you, Dick.
Good to talk to you, too, Don. If I probably won't talk to you, so I'll wish you happy holidays.
Oh, yeah, before Christmas, yeah. You have a happy holiday, too. Have Merry Christmas to you and your family, and we'll talk soon again. Okay, Dick?
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Dick Graceffa from DG Sports. It's always good to talk to old friends and seeing that he's doing very well. It's 7:29 at WRJN Radio. Keep it right here. We've got more to come.
Makes me feel stupid. This guy calls me up the other day. It's the wrong number. Guy's off by one number, which is usually the case, but they never know that. So I always pretend like they're off by 7. That's more fun. Is this 213-3125? No. This is 998-7999. What the hell's wrong with you? What are you, drunk? You're drunk, aren't you? Guy won't try again for like an hour. Oh, man. I wasn't even close. Honey, you dial. I think I had the phone upside down. I hate when you tell them it's the wrong number, so they say, are you sure? And how do you talk to these people? I don't know, I'm pretty sure. Well, let me take a look around. Whoa, I'm in the wrong house.
Hear what I hear. Said the night wind to the little lamb. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
A star, dancing in the night, with a tail as big as a kite. With a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy.
That was written as a song for peace during the Cuban Missile Crisis in the early 60s.
Ringing through the sky, shepherd
and it stuck. It's a good song. Do you hear what I hear? That's the Bing Crosby version, but there is so many great versions of that song out there. I'm Don Rosen. Thanks for joining us. 736 at WRJN Civic Media, Hometown Radio Refreshed, where it's currently cloudy and 26 degrees. Today becoming mostly sunny. With a high near 36, a clear night tonight. Lows around 29, and tomorrow sunshine again with a high near 35. As you heard on the news, a lot of places in this country having bad weather. Tennessee, tornadoes ripped through just north of Nashville. 6 people lost their lives, including a 2-year-old child. And then, of course, you got flooding in the east. Then you've got snowstorms in the west. And somehow we lucked out with some beautiful weather here in Wisconsin. So enjoy it while you can. Let's talk about your computer. All right? How many passwords do you have, and how do you keep track of all those passwords? I write them down on a piece of paper and hide the piece of paper. Not for my wife. I mean, she knows where it is. But I hide it because there are so many passwords. I've got about 50 different passwords. Some of them are defunct now because they're not used anymore. But I still have them in case I need them. So most people do it from memory. I have the few that I have to use every day. They're memorized. My browser saves the passwords. Not a good idea. Somebody breaks into your computer, they've got all the passwords. On a Post-it note or written near my computer, again, not a great idea where people can see them. In the Notes app on my phone, again, anytime you put these things where people can get into them, not a good idea. And using password management software. I'm not familiar with that, but again, if it's on the computer, it's kind of dangerous. So all my passwords are written on a piece of paper. I've been using the same piece of paper for years. I have Scotch tape holding it together. Now, what if? A survey found if the average person got hacked, would they be willing to pay to buy back all their information, including passwords, credit card numbers, social security numbers, medical records, just to get it off the black market? Turns out the price is $29,332 on average. That's what we'd pay. Now, if it's ransomware, you're going to pay about that amount because a radio station I worked at was hacked, and they shut the station off the air. And it was a Russian hacker. FBI called in because it's radio. It's a federally licensed operation. And they had to pay not that amount, but not that far away to get it done. Now, they had insurance on this. I didn't know there was insurance against being hacked, but obviously there is. Odd but true. This is a political odd but true. There are no term limits for vice president. So in theory, different presidents could keep picking the same person to be vice president. Obviously, it never happened. But you can have the same vice president like forever, as long as they lived, if you wanted to. 82% of people now have at least some privacy settings on their social media accounts. And it's to hide stuff from people at their current job or during a job search. The top things people are hiding: photos, comments, status updates about their personal life, pictures, comments, and status updates showing them doing unprofessional things. And, of course, their political views. I was told that's one of the first things people do now. When you apply for a job, your employer pumps your name into Facebook. Let's see what they're up to these days. Oh, look at that. They're dancing with a lampshade on their head naked at a party. That's interesting. That might not keep you from getting the job, but maybe you don't want your boss seeing that. And political views, too. If you're rabid against, one candidate or something and you're real nasty about it, might keep you from getting a job. So be careful what you post because it never goes away. You can delete it, but it never goes away. What's the last thing you look at before you go to sleep at night? Number one, your significant other. I'd love to say that's true, but it's not. How about your cell phone? 25% of people said it's their cell phone. 93% of people sleep with their phone within arm's reach, including 10% who have it under their pillow. Now, I don't have it under my pillow. Not a good idea because it can overheat and start a fire. So not a good idea. I keep it on my nightstand because that's my alarm clock. I have a backup alarm clock, but that's my alarm clock. And when it goes off, I don't want my wife to wake up, so I kind of shut it off as soon as it goes off. Most of the time, I'm up before my alarm goes off. But if I'm not, I don't want her waking up, so I shut it off immediately. One time, I hit the snooze by accident, left the room, and it was going off. Now, it's a gentle alarm. It's not like, It's not like that. So, okay, if your kid is going into their junior or senior year at high school, be aware they could be hitting peak awkwardness. A poll asked adults how old they were when they felt the most awkward, the average age 17. 2/3 of adults said they still had moments when they felt just as awkward as they did back then. Turns out we're still worried about a lot of things, a lot of the same things we worried about back in high school. Top 3 things we worry about in high school are weight, our hair, our teeth. Those are still the top things we worry about as adults as well. I don't think I ever worried about that stuff. I had a good time in high school. I just didn't think about that kind of stuff. People liked me for who I was. Unbrushed teeth, no showers, and I was very skinny in high school. Actually, I did brush my teeth. I did take showers. But a lot of kids don't. That's, they don't take care of themselves. All right, we found a list of 4 ways to be indispensable at your job. Translation, here's how to keep from getting fired. You work on vital projects that have high visibility. You make your boss's priorities your priorities. You boost your skill level. You update your resume so you're ready when opportunities arise. And You keep the photos from the Christmas party under lock and key, just in case you need this, bring them out in public. You wouldn't do that, would you? If you woke up in a bad mood, here are 4 possible reasons why. You're not eating enough fruits and veggies. You're dehydrated. You realize you're spending too much time on Facebook. Yeah, that last one is probably it. Forget the fruits and veggies. Forget the dehydration. Too much time on Facebook can put you in a bad mood. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, Dancing with the Stars came back to regular TV this year. It was on streaming for a while. I stopped watching it when they got rid of Tom... what's his name? I forgot his name already. That's with a B. Tom Bergeron. That's it. Tom Bergeron. When they got rid of him, I stopped watching it. A lot of people did too. And they put it on streaming only. Then they brought it back to ABC TV. Here's a list of celebrities who have actually turned down Dancing with the Stars. If you watch it this season, which I didn't, but I did read about it, there's only one person I ever heard of, Jason Mraz, the singer. Other than that, I never heard of any of those people. A lot of them are influencers, internet influencers they put on now. But here are the people that turned it down. These are A-listers. Demi Moore, Caitlyn Jenner, Mark Zuckerberg, Lindsay Lohan, Jodie Sweetin from Full House, Martha Stewart, Rick Schroeder, Suzanne Summers, Jamie Lee Curtis, Queen Latifah, and Tim Allen all turned down Dancing with the Stars. If you're not a good dancer, it's a good reason to turn it down. I always say that of all the reality shows on TV, you put in Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, but all those reality shows, American Idol, the toughest one is Dancing with the Stars. Number one, it's live. And if you don't know how to dance, it's going to become obvious real fast, and you'll make a fool out of yourself if you can't remember the dance steps, because there's no second takes on Dancing with the Stars. A lot of stars did make fools out of themselves, so if I'm asked to go on Dancing with the Stars, I'm going to turn it down. You know, there are ATMs all over the world, right? All over the world, including Antarctica. There are 2 ATMs down there. They're run by Wells Fargo. So if you have a Wells Fargo account and you're on Antarctica, you can use the machines with no ATM fees. That's good news, because a lot of people head out to Antarctica and realize, you know what? We're out of cash. What are we going to do? Well, there are 2 ATMs in all of Antarctica. And now they can get cash immediately for all the fun stuff to do in Antarctica. Is there really fun stuff? I know there were penguins down there. And I know there were military, there were science, what's the word I'm looking for? There are scientists stationed down there, and they have the military protecting them. And one day I'm at a block party, and the guy says, I was once stationed in Antarctica. I said, really? That must have been something. He said, it can get down to 100 degrees below zero, and that's not the wind chill. Now, on my cell phone, I keep track of Antarctica temperatures. Don't know why, I just do it. This time of year, it's their summer. But when it's winter, I see 70 below zero, 80 below zero, and those are not wind chills. And I said, well, how do you function? He said, well, first of all, you can't go outside. You have special suits to wear. They're like space suits if you have to go outside for something. But mainly during the entire winter, you don't go outside. The scientists try to stay inside, because if your skin gets exposed at 100 below zero, you're in trouble. I said, well, do you have any vehicles? Well, they don't work at 100 degrees below zero. We wait till it turns to like 2 degrees below zero, and then they work. So, yeah, not a good place to go. I don't know how the penguins survive down there at that temperature, but they do, and they thrive. Let's see what else we got here. BuzzFeed put together a list of supposed threats that terrified millennials when they were younger, but actually mostly harmless today. Here's some of the things they worried about. Thinking about they go to prison if they rip the tag off the pillow or mattress. You ever see that tag on there? It says, if you remove it, it's against the law. You take yourself into harm's way if you remove that tag on the pillow or the mattress. That is not meant for you and me. That's meant for companies that sell mattresses. They cannot remove the tags. You can remove them. Nothing's going to happen to you. There's not a SWAT team waiting outside your front door. We've been waiting 22 years for Don Rosen to remove that tag. Now we got you. Come on. Handcuff him. Take him to prison. He's going for life with no chance of parole. It doesn't work like that. That's not for you and me. That's for people who sell them. Worried that you'd swallow gum and it would stay in your stomach for 7 years. I was told never to swallow gum. I didn't hear the 7-year story, but I was told never to swallow gum, and I did it. I don't know why I did it. I told not to do it, and I did it anyway. Thinking that a ceiling fan could fall on you if you left it on while sleeping. You know what? I still think that. Something's not balanced in my ceiling fan. And when we leave it on, it sways back and forth. And I read because something's not balanced. I don't know what's not balanced. It's probably the blades, but I checked them out. They're all on. They're all screwed in properly, according to the way it was told to be done. But it sways back and forth. Now, it's not over our heads, luckily. I don't think it's over the bed. It would fall on the floor. But when we turn it on in the summer, I look at it and I say, that thing's coming down. Any minute now, maybe I should pull my feet in just a little bit, just in case. Just because the movie has a long run time doesn't mean it's good. Someone over at lifehack.com created a long list of movies that are good, and they were long. 3 hours and 14 minutes, Titanic in 1997. That was a long movie. One of my favorites, it's a Mad, Mad World from 1963. One of those big Cinerama spectaculars, 3 hours, 22 minutes. Anatomy of a Murder. This surprised me because I watched this with James Stewart. 1959, 2 hours and 40 minutes. The Godfather Part 2, 1974, 3 hours and 22 minutes, but it was worth every second. I loved the Godfather movies. Great. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King from 2003. 3 hours, 20 minutes long. Lawrence of Arabia, 1962, 3 hours, 47 minutes. Of course, Gone with the Wind was just short of 4 hours in itself. It's 7:49 at WRJN Radio. Thanks for being here. I'm Don Rosen at Civic Media. Hometown radio refreshed at 1400 AM and 99.9 FM in Racine, 98.1 FM in Kenosha. Right now it's cloudy and 26 degrees. Mostly sunny later today with a high near 36. Elvis Presley did songs like that for Christmas. Santa's Back in Town, doing all those songs. But he also did the deeply religious songs. He has several gospel albums that he put out, and some with real serious Christmas music. So he was all over the place with his music, Elvis Presley. Let's talk about this week at WRJN here with me. We had Dick Graceffa this morning. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, 7:06 tomorrow morning. John Dickert, former mayor of Racine. Then he was involved heavily with water. What are we talking about? Talking about water. Maybe something we should think about for the future. Anyway, John Dickert's going to be with us tomorrow morning. Wednesday morning, we've got Allie Hagg is going to be here. She's the CEO of United Way of Racine County. We'll be talking about United Way's fundraising. On Thursday, we've got Debbie Hamlet from Milwaukee Public Television. I hosted their auction on TV for either 36 or 37 years. They serve all of southeast Wisconsin, so they do help out. People in Racine depend on Milwaukee PBS, so we'll talk with her. On Friday, we've got Mike Bino from Our Wisconsin Magazine. Their new issue's out about Wisconsin. It's a great magazine. We got Brett Hoffman joining us at 7:30. What's new at the movies for Christmas? At 7:50, we've got Mike Clemens joining us as well. So that's our week right here at WRJN. And it's going to be a fun-filled week. as we get ready for Christmas. And I got a little special gift for you on, well, I won't tell you about it. I'll tell you about it when we do it, okay? It's just before Christmas. I have something very special I think you're going to enjoy. And on Christmas Day, by the way, in case you missed it, our big anniversary show from December 6th will be rebroadcast 2 hours on Christmas morning. If you missed it, you can hear the podcast at Civic Media at our website, civicmedia.us. You can go to WRJN.com to hear it, or you can just join us on Christmas morning, and we'll reminisce about 97 years of WRJN. All right, let's get to some trivia. If you got the kids handy there, they might be able to help you out, Mom and Dad. For example, what color is the Grinch? Easy question, right? What color is the Grinch? Green. That's an easy one. They get more difficult, believe it or not. In the movie The Santa Claus, who starred as the substitute Santa Claus? I mentioned his name earlier. He wouldn't go on Dancing with the Stars. Tim Allen. What was Rudolph's punishment for his red nose? Rudolph couldn't play in any reindeer games. In A Charlie Brown Christmas, who played the dusty innkeeper in the Christmas play? Dusty should have given it away. Pigpen. What did the traffic cop holler to Frosty in Frosty the Snowman? Stop. That was pretty obvious. What holiday drink contains sugar, milk, and eggs? My favorite. Very fattening, but it's my favorite. Eggnog. I told you I bought this holiday nog. It's just awful. I bought holiday nog before, but this one was just awful. I took one sip, I had to throw it all out. What did what holiday, where am I here? What popular bite-sized chocolate candy comes wrapped in red and green foil at Christmas time? Hershey Kisses. Come on, you know that one. All right, a couple of more. And these are mainly for the kids. These are pretty easy. This one might be for adults. What Saturday Evening Post artist was known for his whimsical pictures of Santa Claus? Norman Rockwell. There's a nice tip of the hat to Norman Rockwell. I think in Greendale, they have a big statue of Norman Rockwell doing a painting right there in the square, the village square there in Greendale. It's kind of nice. Let's see. In It's a Wonderful Life, what did Clarence receive for accepting his mission? You know what that was, right? Got his wings. St. Nick's beard is like what feature of winter? Snow. Never thought about that. What one reindeer is never mentioned in The Night Before Christmas? That's a little toughie. Rudolph, because Rudolph was not part of the poem. He was Marshall Fields or Montgomery. Montgomery. What's the name of that store? There was a department store that invented Rudolph for coloring books. So he was not part of the original poem. He was an invention later on to sell merchandise. So there you go. Some trivia this morning. Here's a few things pretty much we all do every day or when we need to do it, but never admit to it, like practicing conversations in your head in advance. I do it all the time, but I don't do it in my head. I do it out loud. Being a hypocritical driver, like when someone else slows down because they're lost and you yell at them, but you slow down when you're lost. You don't know why everybody yells at you. I do that all the time. Winning arguments in your head long after the argument's ended. I do that too. You replay the thing over and over again in your noggin, caring way too much about what other people think about you. I used to do that a lot. Now I don't care anymore. Because there were too many people that didn't like me, and I just said I'm going to be with this all day long. I can't be doing this all day. Getting into debates and arguments when you really don't have much knowledge on the subject. I'll admit, I do it. I do it all the time. I get into arguments, and I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. What are the chances your neighbors busted you doing something embarrassing? According to this survey, 1 in 5 people have seen a neighbor in an embarrassing situation. 1 of 7 have overheard something they wish they had not. Not me. I don't spy on my neighbors. We don't do that. So, Ooh, Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm Don Rosen. I want to thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow, former Mayor John Dickert comes here, and we're going to talk about water. you're going to be knocked out by this conversation. You may never drink a glass of water again, or you may be loading up on more water from different sources. We'll talk about that. Becoming mostly sunny today with a high near 36 degrees. And let's see, tonight a clear sky, lows 29. Maybe a shooting star tonight. You never know with a clear sky. Sunny with a high near 35 tomorrow. It's cloudy and 26 degrees. I'm Don Rosen. It's Civic Media's WRJN Hometown Radio, refreshed at 1400 AM, 99.9 FM, and 98.1 FM as well. Have yourself a wonderful Monday. I'll catch you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. right here at WRJN.